for joining us. We are live at the Financial Spot powered by Liberty Bank on the campus of Tulane University. Here we are going to talk about Adulting 101. My name is Jeff Benjamin. I am the Chief Consultant of Bendigo Educational Consultants, and I am joined by Mia Gonzalez-Washington and Kimberly Charlesworth. And ladies, before we get into it, why don't you tell them who you are, what you do, what's the best thing about adulting, all that good stuff. And
Sure. Just starting off with an introduction, I'm Mia Gonzalez-Washington. I am the Director of College and Career Success for the Calhoun Institute for Public Education Initiatives, housed on Tulane University's campus, at the downtown campus. And in my role, I am responsible for supporting secondary and post-secondary professionals as they support their students towards a post-secondary path, be it college, career, workforce, military, etc.
Kimberly.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Charlesworth. I'm the Director of Student Success and Support with Newcomb-Tulane College here at Tulane. We're on the academic quad, and we have a team of success coaches who support students throughout all 4 years or however long it might take to graduate. And we also have a new initiative called the Wave of Support initiative that is focusing on mental health on campus and overall promoting a healthier campus.
So we wanted to do this webinar because when you think about students on a college campus, it's a big transition from high school to college, but once they leave college, it's an even bigger transition from college to adulthood, right? So there's a lot of milestones that they hit while they're in college that prepare them for adulthood, but there's nothing like being an adult, right? And we find that out oftentimes the hard way. So what we want to do in this webinar is maybe leave some gems for the students here at Tulane and the students that are watching from other universities on how to safely, if you will, transition into adulthood. So the first question I want to ask you all is, when did you know you were an adult? What was the moment? How'd you figure it out?
It's a few things that come to mind hearing that question, and I think that when I started to really want Lowe's gift cards as a gift instead of, more fun things or clothing, I really wanted to like, how do I make my space feel like my home, like an adult? Another thing is I began checking, and I think that this is one that is really helpful for college students, but checking the weather before I do anything or before I leave the house, because it would dictate how I dressed for the day. Yeah. It would dictate if I washed my car, looking at the days ahead. And so really just checking the weather, I think, was just one of those moments. It's like, okay, it made me feel like I had a vision for the day or for the week to come, and just preparing for, just making sure I was best prepared before I left the house.
Yeah, okay. So preparation is key. So if we're writing down gems and jewels, preparation is key. Whether checking the weather, Kim, I know that we talked in pre-production about when did you become an adult.
Tough one for me. I am not sure if becoming an adult just happened to me. Maybe just looked back, found some internet jewels sometimes that were like, oh, when you know your favorite grocery store. I'm like, yeah, I do have a favorite grocery store. Mm-hmm. So for me, I think that it was a lot, it was very gradual. I didn't realize it until I reflected on it, which made me kind of give pause to this question, thinking about taking time to reflect and think about what the things are important and what priorities are showing up, and how those things have shifted, and sitting with that, being okay with it, internalizing it as part of who I am now. That's all things that I'm like, oh, I think that I'm an adult because I can do that. So I think that those types of things, a little bit of just thinking and reflecting and being happy with the stage of life where I am.
Okay, I think that for me, those are very real answers that y'all gave. Mine is really simple. I knew I was an adult when I had to buy toilet paper myself for the first time. Ooh. And I had to call my dad and say, hey, what kind of toilet paper do y'all get
Yeah.
in the house? And then I was immediately outraged by the prices of said toilet paper.
Mhm.
Like, this is how much this costs?
Yes.
That was my welcome to adulthood
That's right.
moment
Yeah.
in a Walmart.
If you're in New Orleans too, preparing for your first hurricane evacuation. Woo.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's an adult, yeah.
But even thinking about the weather, like, do I leave
Right.
with rain boots today?
Right.
You know, because we know that any New Orleans street can flood just without a hurricane.
True.
Right.
You know, so.
It's true.
Strong downpour for 20 minutes.
Oh,
That's
man.
all right. But okay, so we're talking. So the first jewel that we have is the preparedness, right?
Mhm.
So preparation. So for students that are graduating and about to lead this adult life, we got to figure out what preparation means to them, right? But if we had to give another jewel, and I like, I want to get to you, Kim, because you talked about the 8 dimensions of wellness, and that self-actualization that you had in adulthood by just being okay, knowing yourself, and sitting with yourself, right? And I feel like that goes into those dimensions of wellness.
Right, so the 8 dimensions of wellness, we have spiritual, vocational, financial, intellectual, social, physical, emotional, and environmental wellness. They can all be found if you just Google it.
Yeah.
But I kind of think of it as like a life wheel, and look at like the slices of the pie and 8 slices, and thinking about how in each of those factors of life and wellness and overall all wellness, where am I? Is one place feeling a little less? Like, how far shaded in am I? If I feel really good about this, vocational wellness, or is my environmental wellness, my environment that I've set up for myself, that I'm created, that I'm thinking about, is it producing the best me that I can be that day? And taking that pause, that reflection around those dimensions of life that impact you every single day. Doesn't mean that we have to pay attention to our spiritual wellness every day. Maybe that's not where you are, but at some point, is that imbalance or that balance, like, how do you maintain it? Or if there's an imbalance, how do you have some help-seeking behaviors in those areas to find things that might help you grow your wellness, or develop an awareness around that piece of your life.
So if we had to so this is the teacher in me, right? Like, I believe in summing things up and giving people like bite-sized points. So if we got 1, preparedness, 2 is awareness, and then 3, she gave us 2 on that one. The third one is balance, right? Because we're all, there's only so much that we can give of ourselves to particular situations and points. And I think that, like, when we talk about self-awareness as young people, beginning this maturation process, we have to understand, like, where we put our time and talent is what grows.
That's right.
So if we're putting a lot of focus into the vocational piece of our wellness, we're going to excel if we put a lot of time in the spiritual piece. But stuff might be tied together, like vocational and financial, right?
Oh yeah.
So there are those links. So Mia, let's talk about some practical stuff that, like, let's say when you were in college, what were your steps to shore your college success? And honestly, you're a college success coach. Like, you're a college success whisperer, if you will. Like, you're just telling them what to do, gently guiding them. What are some of those practical steps that you took while you were in school, and that you encourage other people to take while they're in school to shore themselves up for a life after college?
Sure, thank you. So I got very close with my instructor for my freshman seminar course. And she also just so happened to work in the wellness center at my university. And she is a woman who, to this day, I can still call. And to sum that up, get a mentor. Find somebody, if it's someone on your campus, if it's a supervisor who you feel like you can trust and confide in at your job. Get a mentor, particularly someone who may be related to a career that you're looking towards entering into. But have someone that you can go to, who you can confide in, who's going to call you out and perhaps hold you accountable where even it's uncomfortable. I found that for me was very helpful as a student. even now, I still have mentors as a professional. I mean, it doesn't hurt you to have someone in your corner who you can go to and ask. From a student's perspective, even if it's like, look, I want to apply for this internship. Could you look this over for me ahead? And I'm certain that there are folks like that on your campus to support you. But even if you have that one person, like, look, does this email look okay? Did I hit all the things I'm supposed to? Like, is it cordial? Is it respectful? Do I present myself well electronically? But having a mentor for me was always key in ensuring that support was there outside of your parent or outside of that other adult in your family.
I would tell all my students one of the keys to life. I'm a sports person, right? So I tell them, like, you've seen Michael Jordan, you've seen Kobe Bryant, you've seen LeBron James. All these people play basketball, right? And I said, you know what? The one thing you've never seen them do. And they're like, what? I said, you've never seen them play a game without a coach. They've never played a professional game without a coach. And to me, like, a mentor is just an extension of a coach.
Yeah.
Even when we talk about, like, I'll speak about, like, mental wellness, right? Even when we talk about, like, for like a mental health capacity, you have to have somebody that you can talk to kind of like guide you and how to do this game called life, right? Because we have to have someone that knows a little bit more about us, knows a little bit more, and that has been some places that we haven't been to really expose us, right?
Yeah.
I like that, the idea of kind of like, I like to think about it as the metaphor of riding a bike. Okay. You have your support team, so an advisor might be like, we're going to go down this path. They're letting you know. Your counselor, maybe your emotional health is being guided by a counselor that might be like, how does it feel going down this path? And then your mentor is like, look, I've been down this path before. There's a bump over here. Here's how we're going to do it. Here's how we're going to navigate that. Maybe smoothen the path a little bit. Yeah. You got your support team that you might need in different places. Even a coach, like a coach, and is also like, all right, where are we going? Asking you, like, where you navigate. You tell me how we're going to get there.
And that's really important, to have someone that is empowering you to have agency over your own journey. Right. Because for me, in my experience in being a college success coach, it wasn't, there is a difference between an advisor and a coach. And so for me, I don't want to tell you what path to take. I want to ask you those open-ended questions that'll get you to reflect about what is it that you want to do with these. Like, I can give you some information. You make the most informed decision for your journey, because it is your life. I'm not giving you your major. No one else should. I'm not giving you your career choice. I can say, hey, look, you're interested in this. Let's see what that may fall into, but asking you those right questions. I also wanted to add that for me, being in college was the first time that I sought out counseling. And college students, counseling in college through your university is probably going to be the most affordable counseling you will ever have.
Only time you get free counseling, probably.
So, and I love that we are in a day and age where it is so destigmatized. Yeah. And it is encouraged. And for me, I know a lot of students have experienced a disruption in their experience because of either Ida or because of COVID. And for me, it was Katrina. Katrina hit while I was in college. And so having that experience disrupted by something that was out of your control, right. I realized that me inside of my own mind was not doing it. And so it opened up a whole path that even still present day, I proudly have a counselor, a therapist who I'm seeing every month. But it was through college that I actually had a counselor for the first time. So definitely talk about practical things to take advantage of on a campus.
And I want to like expand on the mentorship piece of this, because I also think that there's another level to add when we talk about mentorship. You need a mentor as a student, somebody that will kind of help guide you and show you like the possibilities and stuff like that. But I think you also need a champion as well. And I feel like if there's levels to this, if we're talking about advisor, coach, mentor, I feel like champion is like way up there, because your champion is going to put you in certain places.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to advocate for you when you're not in the room. And we all need somebody to do that. But in order to get a champion, you got to go up the ladder of, you know, the advisor, mentor. And you got to build authentic relationships with people, right? And one way to do that, and we'll add this to the list of things when we talk about like tying it up, is accountability. You got to hold yourself accountable because, like Mia said, it is your life, and you know, you're in charge of it. So life doesn't happen to you. You happen to life.
That's right.
Right?
Should be.
If that's how it should work.
You want to say that one again, Dr. Jeff?
Life doesn't happen to you. You happen to life.
That's right.
Right? So we can, you know, earmark that one. So Kimberly, I want to talk about when you think of like what are some of the traits of a successful student in college? Because I know you deal with like student success, and you see probably a large swath of students come in and out of the university all the time. So when we think about like a successful student, what does that look like to you?
Great question. I know, I can tell you right now, engagement, connection, building relationships, whatever that might look like, that it could and maybe should be a connection with a professional on campus like your advisor or your coach, something like that. But attending office hours, introducing yourself to your professors, introducing yourself to people that are potentially in a study group, joining a club or organization that might expand your interest. It might be already a current interest that you are developing, you know, like that time you're spending on that yourself. Just having some community that you are a part of that is where we see our most successful students, because you're not alone, and you're not, and you shouldn't be alone here, or at any college institution. There's too many people that want to get to know you, that want to support you, and so like putting yourself out there, pushing yourself to that edge of that comfort zone, is where some of the most brave things can happen to you, where you're making connections and forming community. So I think that when I see somebody that I'm concerned about, that I would consider maybe not successful just yet, a potential to be success, I'm noticing they haven't quite connected on campus yet, or with a peer or a mentor or a professor. So I would say, to me, that piece of like a connection somewhere, starting somewhere, is really important.
And so I want both of y'all to chime in on this. I think that you said something really key when you talked about pushing towards the edge of your comfort zone, right? But the comfort zone is so comfortable. It's cozy. It's warm with blankets. You know, there's cocoa in there. And like, we like it. We've built our little cocoon, and we like that cocoon, right? But we know that all the fun stuff and the growth happens in life when we're outside of our comfort zone, right? So how do we get to the point where we push outside of our comfort zone? Is there any advice?
That's a great question.
We're all still working on it. I know, like, we work on it every day, like even when you're an adult.
Yes.
So it's not solved, you know, from college. You still work on it as an adult.
Totally.
But any advice for those people trying to push the limits of their comfort?
I'm gonna borrow this. I just got back from a conference yesterday, and I heard someone say from the podium, "Do it even when you're scared."
This is.
Do it scared.
Do it scared, because if you wait until you're ready, it's never going to happen. It's just not. And you know, it's not just the comfort zone and the uncomfortable zone. There's the comfort zone, and right outside of the comfort zone is the learning zone. And it doesn't have to go from comfort zone to panic zone. It's comfort to learning. And I think that, you know, doing it scared, be brave. Be brave. Even when you're meeting with the adults on your campus, have bravery to talk about what's going on. Most times folks can't support you if they don't know what's going on. And so be brave, do it scared, know that right outside of the comfort zone is the learning zone.
That's pretty much exactly what I was going to say, was that piece of like when you get there and that gut tells you like it sends off those little signals. That's when you know you're probably gonna open something really new to you. So trust that, know that it's part of it, and then being brave. Let's say, I mean, being brave sometimes means acting brave. What would a brave person do in this moment?
Yes.
And then just try that. If it doesn't work, you can back out and try something different. But knowing that that little piece is telling you, it's giving you some actual input into like, hey, this could be an opportunity. This could be the next step for me.
Yeah.
And so, you know, and I mentioned that the edge of that comfort zone, because there are ways that you can stay pretty much in it, but have like I can see it, I can feel it, and why not just like go there sometimes?
Yeah.
You know, like this is my passion, but I don't know anyone here. I'm still gonna walk into this group and introduce myself.
I like that Mia said the learning zone.
Mm-hmm.
Like so you know there's level, like with everything in life there's levels, right? So outside of the comfort zone is the learning zone. I think oftentimes a lot of people are scared to operate in the learning zone because they don't want to mess up.
Yeah.
Because, you know, as you've gotten older, it's almost weird to learn new things, especially like when you think about like life outside of college. Like oftentimes we have the perception as adults, like, man, we're supposed to know everything. And we're supposed to have some of these things figured out. But oftentimes, like this is a learning experience, and there is a learning curve. And sometimes when we're messing up is when the most learning and growth happens. I had a basketball coach I would do these drills, and I would get the drill perfect. And like I was like, man, like I finally got it perfect. Like I'm good right here. And then the coach came in and started yelling at me, like yelling. And I was like, yo, like I'm doing it perfect. Like what's wrong? And he was like, if you're not messing up, you're not pushing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, you got to push those limits. And I think with the learning zone, we're talking about the boundaries that we're placing, and we're pushing through and past those boundaries, which is beautiful. All right, so I know that we're coming close to time, but I want to, we'd be remiss since we're powered by Liberty Bank, right? It is a financial institution. We got to talk about some money.
Let's do it.
Like, how are we with money as an adult? I was watching a show last night, and it talked about like, it depressed me, honestly, because it was talking about money and investing and like the poverty level. And I was like, oh my God, like it revealed some hard truths to me at 30 something years old. I was like, oh man, I got to work on this. So like, let's talk about like financial solvency. Like what can you do in college to make sure that you're, you know, in a better position in adult life, right? Financially.
Yes, there are so many. College is the time to jump in and get some of the financial coaching that's available on campus. I mean, I know Liberty Bank has, you know, a foundation that does support, you know, wellness and financial wellness. And what's it going to look like? What if I step into grad school? What if I step into a job? Like, what are my loans, or what are my, you know, there's all of these questions that you don't need to know. You should tap into the resources that you have available to you to ask those questions. And then, I mean, I think too, a good practice is something that I love to talk about with students is like just thinking about how you manage your day and your time and your wealth as you even, you know, as you move around your day in college. Starting that when, you know, maybe it's a lighter semester and you're kind of like, you know, in the groove, you know what's going on, starting to kind of build out a little budget and like seeing how that works for you and just dipping your toes into that, because as you kind of step into that maybe learning zone, you start investing in yourself, you know, investing in yourself and looking for those resources. So taking advantage of the resources on campus that are around your financial wellness would be one thing that I think would step into this as an adult.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think adding on to that, I was one of those folks who operated on in college that if it is free, it is for me.
Yes.
And you know, I just told y'all on your college campus, counseling is free. There's so many free financial resources as well. Most college campuses also have a pantry. And so just thinking about, you know, we talk about a budget, but some students are like, I don't have any money to budget.
Yes. True.
Okay. what is it that you can utilize that is already for free to you so that you're not spending money unnecessarily? So if it's utilizing the campus pantry, be it because of a hardship or because you're trying to be frugal, utilize the campus pantry so that you can get not only food, but many pantries have toiletries. You're talking about toilet paper and the cost of toilet paper, but that is a resource to help you save your money. Uber and whatnot was not around when I was in college. I am flabbergasted at how many students will take an Uber to a part-time job when you're spending your hourly wage just to get one way. That is something that is very shocking for me. And so thinking about how can I more affordably get to where I need to go, whether it's taking the bus. There's actually a whole cheaper way to take the bus as a college student, get an unlimited pass, which is $55 or so. For someone who's not in college, but only $25 to have unlimited RTA ride, streetcar and bus for the month. So again, there are folks on your campus that have this information if you don't, but I think that it's so important to tap into the resources that are at a much deeper discount than you spending the money that you probably don't already have or that you're trying to budget for expenses, especially if you have family responsibilities. But find out where are the free things, what are the free resources that you could tap into, or what are the items that are going to come to you at such a bargain because you're in college. Utilize those college discounts as well.
And look, let me tell you, I think that for all the people out there watching, I think that there is a cost in not knowing.
Yes.
Right?
Oh my gosh. Yes.
And we pay that cost in like one or two ways. We either pay it financially or we pay it with our time, right? So there is a hidden cost just about in everything in the world of not knowing, right? And just simple things like if you don't pay a bill on time, they're going to charge you more money later, right? Like that, that's a thing. Especially for college students now, this is the time where you're probably going to get more credit card offers than anything, right? They're going to be coming at you left and right. And they're going to give you free pizza. That's what they used to do when I was in college. They give you free pizza. But when we're talking about having agency over your life, right? Responsibility comes with that. So if we use credit cards and stuff of that nature, and we're eligible for those things, being responsible with it is key, right? You want to spend responsibly. You want to use responsibly. Use responsibly. Now, since we're at the financial spot, this is an opportunity and an avenue for students who do not know or are inquisitive, right? Because there's nothing wrong with being inquisitive and asking questions. There are people here to actually help navigate these things. When I was in college, some of my friends actually bought a house while they were in college.
Wow.
And at that time I was like, man, that was a great idea. Like when I'm 30 looking at it, right? If I had some advice for students about finances though, I would say take a business class, an economics class, right? Learn the information like as an elective, right? You're already paying for school anyway. Let's get an elective in there. Let's figure out how the world works because the world works on money. So you have to have that figured out. And with that being said, I want to give this time to kind of go into our final lesson for everyone, because I mean honestly this time is flown by for me. I don't know about y'all, right? It's flown by, so we're at time already. So if y'all could start, let's give us something that you could sum up our learning or our journey together.
I think biggest things are make connections, lean on people. People want to help people. People want to be connected to other people. And lean on that, rely on it, and then also reflect on yourself. Take time, take a pause, think about your overall wellness and who you are, and how that's matching up with your own value set, and how that's playing out in your day to day. I think that's it. Reflecting and connecting.
Rhyming. And I would add tapping into the resources that are available to you. There are people on your campus who are in place to support you. And be brave. Be brave in seeking out those connections. If you're feeling like, I don't know where to go, ask and understand that outside, I cannot stress this enough, outside of your comfort zone is the learning zone. Like you said, if you're not making mistakes, you're not trying, or you're not trying hard enough. You know, and it's like, and be okay with fumbling a little bit. That is where you grow, and you'll be able to look back and pull from that experience in the future, thinking back, wow, I was able to overcome that. Or I actually approached that person and asked, hey, can you tell me how you got into this field? And here I am in that field as well. And so really being courageous and being brave and knowing that there are people there to support you, tap into those resources.
No, that's great. I think college is a condensed version of life, honestly. Like it's life truncated down into these 4 years. Where you're on a campus living, building, making community with people, right? Learning how to do that. And I think that you should take all of the advantages that college offers, try and fail. I think that if they haven't learned anything, that it's to be accountable, it's to try, it's to fail, and it's to try again, right? Like knowing what I know in these few years of life that I've lived outside of college, is to try, continue to try, and eventually we'll get it right? But college is the point where you as a student can try new things, you can reinvent yourself, you can be whoever you want to be, you can change that from year to year, and you get exposed to so many different things. So I encourage that exposure, I encourage that inquisitive nature of yourself, because that's where growth happens.
Yes, it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. We have really enjoyed this conversation. We hope that you have gleaned some nuggets of information as we did with one another as a panel. So signing off from the Financial Spot, powered by Liberty Bank at Tulane University. I've been Jeff, this has been Kimberly, and this has been Mia.
Bye.